Here are 5 lore details from Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Please subscribe if you enjoy the content. I'm trying to reach 100k this year. Follow me on Twitter as well, trying to get 1,000 followers on there. And let's just start with the first one here. So, Metropolis in this game, as we all know, is completely destroyed by Brainiac, and although the Justice League was caught initially and were mind-controlled, they weren't the only enhanced people in this city. Metropolis, honestly, is home to a lot of other different superpowered people, or just, special ability people, I guess. Some superheroes, some supervillains, and also some minor characters that we may see in the upcoming DLC. The two I wanted to talk about were Polka Dot Man and Kite Man. So I put these two together because I kind of fit them in the same category when it comes to classifying the more goofy characters in the DC universe, and also because they have unique Easter eggs on the map that lets us know they have been in Metropolis during the Brainiac attack. Let's start with Kite Man. So if you don't know who Kite Man is, it's pretty much how it sounds. It's a guy dressed in a green costume, equipped with a giant kite that flies around calling himself Kite Man. His name is Charles. Honestly sounds goofy, but he's low-key a really entertaining character, at least in recent times to me. He has a tragic backstory about his son dying, giving him a pretty sad backstory, but as Kite Man, he's entertaining, and you honestly find yourself rooting for him, even though he's kind of a villain, albeit a more honorable one. And he has a badass catchphrase too, hell yeah. Anyways, that's Kite Man for you, but unfortunately, it may look like he's dead in Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. If you go to this area of the map here, going around this building, you'll find this kite hanging from the building with blood around it, which, implies that Kite Man is dead. It's pretty sad. It makes you think what he was doing in Metropolis during the invasion. Perhaps on the first day of the invasion, he got caught off guard, and that's how this ended up here. Maybe he had some other reason for being in Metropolis. Who knows? But this does imply that Kite Man was in the city during the invasion and got caught and, I guess, killed? I feel like he would just become another purple monster, though, for Brainiac, so maybe that's what ended up happening to him, but maybe they'll elaborate on it in a DLC, who knows. But that also leads into the next kind of goofy person here, Polka Dot Man. Another guy who does exactly what his name suggests. He shoots polka dots as a power. Sometimes it's really overpowered, though, like the James Gunn movie. His polka dots will just melt and kill you easily. Well, in this game, first off, at the beginning in the Hall of Justice, in the glass case of the villains the League has defeated, you can see a spot for Polka Dot Man right there. So I guess the League thought he was worth putting in the glass case here. I guess it makes sense though, because this museum is designed for kids, right? So I'm guessing Polka Dot Man is more child-friendly than other villains, I guess? I'm assuming Batman is the one that took him out. It just seems fitting. But more importantly, going to this area of the map here in Racine, you'll find purple muck on this wall here, surrounded by what looks like polka dots. This is clearly an Easter egg to Polka Dot Man, so this implies that Polka Dot Man was also in the city during the Brainiac invasion, but it looks like in his case, he got away and killed one of the Brainiac goons. I feel like Polka Dot Man might be DLC, so we might hear more about him in an upcoming DLC, and if we do, maybe we'll hear of other minor characters too, like Kite Man, what happened to him. My thing is that Brainiac doesn't tend to kill off people in Metropolis, but instead turn them into these purple monster things, so, maybe Kite Man turned into one of these guys, but that's just as good as being dead, right? Maybe Polka Dot Man did as well, but who knows? But this confirms that there were other characters in the DC universe in Metropolis during the invasion, and who knows? Maybe they were helping out. Hopefully we learn more about these two, as they are pretty interesting characters, honestly. So, apparently, in the Arkham universe, Gordon has a son. Now, in the comics, he has a son, but in the Arkham games, as far as I know, he's never been brought up until this game here, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. If I'm wrong about that, go ahead and call me out in the comments, I guess. But if you go to this area of the map here, in this alley, you'll find this wanted poster of Gordon's son, James Gordon Jr., and it's a wanted poster, like I said. Now, if you didn't know, in the comics, James Gordon Jr. is a psychopath, a killer who goes on a killing spree, and it's a complete opposite of Gordon. He is a killer. In the comics, I feel like he's rarely touched on. You can see him in the background of some comics at times, like The Long Halloween, but yeah, he's never really touched on. It's funny though, he is in the Dark Knight movies from Christopher Nolan. Maybe he becomes a criminal there as well after nearly dying to Two-Face, but yes, here in the Arkhamverse, it looks like he's on the loose and is wanted. So, like I said earlier, we never hear about him in the Arkham games, but he obviously existed back then as well because James Gordon Jr. is an adult here. At least, I mean, yeah, he is an adult. Just look at this picture, right? And Suicide Squad takes place only 5 years after Arkham Knight, so Batman and Gordon, I feel like, had to have known about his psychopathic tendencies. Gordon never once brings him up when he talks about his family and how he would do anything for them. So based on that, maybe he doesn't consider James Gordon Jr. his son or a part of his family due to, him being a murderer, or two, maybe James Gordon Jr. wasn't a monster yet until after Arkham Knight, or exposed himself as a criminal, which is why we probably never see him in Arkham or Blackgate. If we had to connect this with the Arkham canon, I feel like he's never been mentioned in the Arkham games because he's been a murderer for a while and Batman doesn't want to bring him up in respect for Gordon, and Gordon never talks about him because it may make him feel uncomfortable. There's wanted posters for him in Metropolis, however, so maybe he's in Metropolis during this time or near the city. I don't know if Gotham and Metropolis are close to each other in the Arkhamverse. I'm assuming they are since that's how it usually is in some comic iterations, so if that's the case, them having wanted posters here makes sense. Honestly, he's an interesting character, and I would have loved for him to be like a side mission or something in the Arkham games. I think he would fit in Arkham Knight considering the huge family elements in that game. It would have been cool to see Oracle and Gordon's reaction, but he is on the loose here at this moment in Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. I wonder if he was in Arkham at some point or Blackgate or something. He has been known to leave Gotham and just vanish, so that may be a factor here as well. Or this could have just been an old wanted poster, right, from like a long time ago. Either way, he is a psychopath that has to be taken care of, even despite the bigger issues in the world of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Staro the Conqueror. If you guys don't know who this is, it's a giant alien starfish. He's the first villain the Justice League has ever fought. He can summon smaller starfish coming out of his armpits and other places that latch onto people's faces and makes them pretty much mind controlled to do whatever Staro wants. Now, if you remember, in Batman Arkham Knight, and I'm sure a lot of you have, Staro is actually in the Batgirl Matter of Family DLC. There's a small room you can enter with Staro inside some kind of tank, staring at you with his eyes. It's pretty eerie, honestly. On top of that, you can find posters around the park advertising this guy here with one of Staro's little starfish things latched onto his face, implying he's being mind controlled by Staro. Now, moving on to Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, over by Star Labs, going to this area here, you will find little starfish turned into sacks of dust like the people around them, implying that Staro is maybe on the loose and in Metropolis. And another thing to note, near this area, you can find posters for the rides at the Seagate amusement park from Arkham Knight. Okay, so what's going on here? Here's a clip of me popping up against my friends in a Smash tournament we had. I won. Oh. Yes, sir! Yes! That Matter of Family DLC took place like right before Arkham Asylum, so that's like around 6+ years, maybe more, between that DLC and this game and this Easter egg here. In that DLC, it's mentioned that the park's owner and daughter were killed by Joker and Harley, meaning that after Batgirl and Robin stopped Joker and Harley in that DLC, there's nobody left taking care of that park, as far as we know. So you gotta wonder if Batgirl and Robin canonically found Staro here and took care of him, or what? Because otherwise, why is he still chilling years later in Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League? So just lore-wise, there's a few ways we can go about this. One way is after the events of Matter of Family, somebody new took over the park and found Staro and either kept him around or was being mind controlled by him somehow. Because the thing is, the Seagate Park is still open. These posters here prove that, right? So the park is still being advertised and used. So my thing is that someone is still running the park. And if Batgirl and Robin didn't find Staro when they were there, then maybe the new owner did. Because something to note is that Staro's area in that DLC was hidden off, so you could just say that since it was hidden, Batgirl and Robin never found it. Or another theory is that maybe they did find Staro and took care of him somehow. I don't know how, but somehow. And Staro just got out years later of whatever captivity he was in and started wreaking havoc again around the same time as Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. It's hard to say, but one thing is for certain, Staro is still a threat looming even in the current times of the Arkham universe. Now, these starfish here don't necessarily mean he was in Metropolis, right? He could have sent them out in Gotham and they traveled here. Maybe the Justice League was dealing with this threat around this time of the game. Who knows? There's not a whole lot of evidence to go off of other than the fact that the Seagate Park is still active and Staro is still around in some shape or form. The things revolving around that, like how, where, who, those are the questions I can't answer for you. Maybe this will be elaborated on in the future. Only time will tell. But this is one of the cooler details in the game, for me at least. Selena Kyle, aka Catwoman. Batman's true love interest, and that is a fact. Sorry to break it to you, pal. Anyways, where is Selena Kyle? At the end of Arkham Knight, in her own DLC, she gets revenge against Riddler for keeping her captive by pretty much stealing all of his money and leaving Gotham City with said money. We don't hear about her after in that game, but it's safe to say she was probably just chilling somewhere with the money. Harley in the overworld of this game wonders where Selena has been. I don't have footage of that, unfortunately, but in Riddler's audio tapes, it does give us information on where Selena has currently been. Take a listen.
Your task force exceeds expectations, which isn't hard. When Waller procured you from Arkham, I expected the worst.
How'd your lanky-ass self get out of Arkham so fast?
I helped some of the guards cheat on their taxes. Besides, I was only in there for a little misunderstanding with Catwoman. You do know she took all the money she stole from me and moved out of Gotham. Of course, I found her new address. It's...
Don't dox, Catwoman. You think it ain't hard enough being a lady in the villain business? I'm hanging up.
What? You can't hang up on me. I do the hanging up. I'm hanging up on you.
Works every time.
So Selena took all of Riddler's money and moved out of Gotham, like he said. And he knows where she lives. He doesn't say it since Harley cuts him off, but this confirms that Selena is alive and well, which is good to hear. But also, that's not it. Bruce and Selena have been sending each other postcards and keeping in contact. Inside the Wayne Vault, you can find postcards from Selena Kyle with hugs and kisses for Bruce Wayne. So based on the hugs and kisses, I'm going to assume that Batman is in a relationship with Selena at this point. Well, it's a possibility that he's probably not as well, simply because Batman is who he is and probably has his hands full with Gotham, but who knows. Also, it's not made clear Selena has retired from the Catwoman alias or not. I feel like she may have since she moved out of Gotham with Riddler's money, but that's just me. She could definitely still be Catwoman. Either way, it looks like she's doing well and is in contact with Batman, and they have some kind of relationship here, which is great to see. Where her current whereabouts are unknown. I doubt it's Metropolis though, since we may have learned about her if that was the case, and she left Gotham too, so maybe she moved on to one of the other big cities in the DC universe, like Coast City, maybe Keystone. Either way, she's alive and well, which is good to see. Now, we all know about Batman in this universe and how long he's been around for. But how about for the other Justice League members? They all have had their own adventures and stories as well, and Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League gives us hints as to some of them. They don't outright tell us how long each superhero has been active exactly timeline-wise, but based on some of the villains and details seen, we can assume it's been a while for each of them. So to start off with Superman, I made a video talking about damn near every instance of Superman Easter eggs and lore in the Arkham games. I'll link that in a title card at the top right. Hopefully I remember. But short summary is that Superman has likely been around as long as Batman. Thugs in Arkham Knight name drop Superman like he's a common name that's been around for far too long.
That'll teach him. Who the hell does he think he is anyway? Superman?
Now, in this game, over by Toyman's work area, you can see cartoon pictures of the heroes fighting some of their famous villains. For Superman, you can see that he's fighting Metallo here. He's a pretty big villain, so Superman has fought a lot of his classic villains already. In fact, I'd argue a lot of his rogues gallery. I'm not going to go through his entire list in the game, but he's fought people like Livewire, for example, or at least it's assumed. There's a poster in the game that references her. Livewire is a Superman villain with like electric powers. So Superman, I'd say, has been active just as long as Batman has. Now, for Wonder Woman. Honestly, she could be the hero with the least amount of active time considering her origin and how she has to adapt to life, or she could very well be the oldest since, she's a god, basically. At the same Toyman area, you can see her fighting Ares, one of her classic villains. Honestly, Diana could have been around just as long or way longer, or very short, it's hard to say with her. However, I want to remind everyone that it was said by Jack Ryder that Superman and the other heroes found Batman and asked him to join the League. So Superman likely has met with Diana prior to meeting Bruce, and establish a relationship with her there. And if that's the case, then Wonder Woman has already made a name for herself, so she's probably been around for quite a while. It's hard to say though, the game never tells us, but in the Arkham games, she's never mentioned, not once, not even an Easter egg. So I'm guessing she didn't fully become Wonder Woman until after Arkham Knight. That's just my guess though. Next, John Stewart. Now here's the thing, usually in the comics, it's Hal Jordan that becomes the first Green Lantern and then John Stewart. I don't know if there's a Hal in the Arkhamverse. I'm hoping there is, and if there is, then I'm just gonna go off canon and say that he was the first Green Lantern and then John Stewart became one after. And if that's the case, then the Earth Green Lanterns have been around for probably quite a while. I know I keep throwing around the word while, but I can't say when he became Green Lantern. I'm guessing it's after Bruce became Batman because it just seems right that John became one after doing his thing in the military and Hal has had his time to shine as Green Lantern. This hologram here at Toyman's area shows him fighting Sinestro. Batman did mention there was a Sinestro Corps fight the League has had, so I mean, I don't know why that matters exactly, but Sinestro might have been a thing for a long time too, if he's being advertised like this. Maybe John was in space for a while during the events of the Arkham games, and then joined the League and made Earth his home to an extent. I can't say for certain when he was established though, since I don't know enough information, unfortunately. But finally, there's Barry Allen the Flash. Now Barry, we do have a good amount of information for. Now, Barry Allen is from Central City. And in the Arkham games, Central City is referenced. There's signs of the city in Arkham Origins like you can see right here. But other than this sign, Keystone City is a major city that's constantly referenced in the Arkham games. Hugo mentions Keystone City in Arkham City. In Arkham Knight, there's signs of Keystone City around with the Flash running by. So there is a Flash in Keystone City. Now, Keystone is home to two Flashes. Jay Garrick, who is generally regarded as the first Flash. He's an old man whose prime time as a Flash was when the Justice Society was around, before the League was around basically. But also, Keystone is home to Wally West, the third Flash after Barry. Wally is usually a nephew to Barry, and he's a pretty funny chill speedster. Some thugs even talk about the Flash in Keystone as well.
I'd rather take over Gotham than Keystone. At least you can see Batman coming.
So I'm willing to bet that the Flash in Keystone is Wally, because Jay generally isn't doing his Flash superhero thing at this point. So if that's the case, then Barry has likely been around maybe longer than Bruce has been Batman, because I'm guessing that Barry was Flash for a while, and then Wally came up. Just timeline-wise, it makes sense to me. Maybe Wally is a part of the Titans team in this universe with Nightwing. They are best friends, usually, so it would make sense. Who knows? And also at Toyman's area, you can see Flash fighting Reverse Flash. So if Reverse Flash is being advertised like this, then it just enforces the fact that Flash, Barry Allen Flash, has been around for quite a while. But that's all the information we have. I don't know every bit of lore or Easter egg, so I may be missing something, but unfortunately, I don't know the timelines exactly for when these characters have started superheroing, but hopefully that gives you a general idea. They all, to me, have been around for at least quite a while, and those are 5 lore details from Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Let me know if I missed anything, as I probably did, or if there's one you enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe if you enjoy the content. I'm trying to get 100k this year, that's my big goal. Make sure to follow me on Twitter as well. Any support in the video is really appreciated, and I'll see you on the next video. Appreciate all of you. Thank you for everything you guys do for me. Stay safe, and peace. Thank you to today's video sponsor, Raycon. Raycons are noise isolating headphones that are not only just absolutely amazing quality, but it's also just half the price of other premium brands. It's kind of too good to be true, only it is true. And don't even take my word for it. How often have you heard of other people talk about Raycons, or how about the thousands of 5-star reviews they have? It's not just me. People love Raycons. I touched on it kind of earlier, but the noise isolation is just so good, especially for me. When I'm working out or doing my thing with them, I like to just be one with my music without any distractions, and this does the job perfectly. Not only that, it's got 3 customizable sound profiles, so you can customize the earbuds in any way you see fit. Like I said, I like to listen when I'm working out, just chilling on my own time, or if I'm going out to eat and I'm by myself, I always bring these to listen to something while I eat. I mean, they're just amazing earbuds, right? You can take them anywhere and there's no downside to them at all. Half the price of other brands, and not only that, you can get them right now for an affordable price. Click the link in the description box or go to buyraycon.com/paladin to get 20% off your Raycon purchase, plus free shipping. Do yourself a favor and treat yourself. And thanks again to Raycon for sponsoring this video.